nice because it's mine.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Well, all right. It's 7 o'clock, so I want to be mindful of your time.
Yeah, yeah, I got
Um,
all night, so anything you need from me.
okay, cool, cool, cool. So let me jump it off. Um, so 7 o'clock, guys. I'm here with Luigi. Is that how you pronounce
Yep,
it?
Luigi.
Is
Yep,
that,
like
is that
Mario and
Luigi?
Luigi.
Okay. Yep, I'm with Luigi here. He is the creator of Tournament Sense. So Tournament Sense, he's going to give us a little bit of background. But if you've ever thought about, tracking your league sessions, your practice sessions, your tournament sessions, and even connecting it to league payouts, league brackets, pots, tournament pots and brackets, anything. If you're trying to connect it and try to figure out, hey, how am I bowling and how does that connect to what I paid for pots and brackets or how much I'm getting back? He's created an app that is really one of a kind. It's definitely it's on the market currently, but not too many people know about it. So I wanted to give a little bit more insight for people, and people can kind of know about this app. And it's gonna be revolutionary to the bowling community. So if you're bowling, you definitely want to stay tuned to what we're talking about today. So I'm gonna give him a time to talk about himself. Have a couple questions for him. So we're gonna go through a little bit with that. So one of the questions that let's just kick it off here that I had. So let's just start at the beginning.
Yep.
So how did Tournament Sense come about? Was there like a specific tournament moment that sparked the idea? Like, just give us a little bit of background of
Yeah,
how
so
this came
last
about.
last April is towards the end of the league season, and I live up in Massachusetts, up in the Northeast, and our local Massachusetts State USBC was holding their annual end of season tournament, which I assume they do across the country. And one of the questions that they had asked on the form is, have you won more than $600 in USBC sanctioned tournaments? And
Yep.
I was like, wait a second. Now, prior to that, I'm fairly new to bowling. I've only done maybe prior to last year, I've only done maybe 10 tournaments, but I cashed in like 4 out of 5 tournaments. And I said,
Okay.
did it come up to $600? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. So
Yep.
so I didn't check it off. And then I was sitting there worried at night. And I know things you worry about. It was like 2 in the morning. And I'm like, well, what if I get disqualified? Because they
Yeah.
have the records, they know, right?
Yeah.
If they do the research, they'll be like, well, no, Luigi, you won $602. You should have checked this. Now your team's disqualified. So I was worried about this. So I went to and I go to my buddy GPT, ChatGPT, and I said,
Yep.
ChatGPT, I need to make a bowling app that can be mobile friendly, and I want to track my tournament scores as well as my winnings.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. That was the original idea, was the cost, winnings, just the scores, nothing
Mm-hmm.
else. It was very simple. So I started down this path of creating the
Okay.
app to track just the final scores. So, the 160s, the 200s, whatever, the final
Mm-hmm.
scores, it adds up, adds in the handicap to show you your placements. And if you cashed, if it was sanctioned or not sanctioned, because you could do a tournament that's not sanctioned, and you
Yeah.
don't want that necessarily to go towards your sanctioned winnings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was like, okay. So I started creating it. And as I'm creating it, it just cascaded to more because I was like, oh, talking with someone, and they're like, oh, yeah. And I was telling them the idea that I'm working on because I started it in April, and this is
Okay.
probably into July timeframe. I ended up going to
Of this
the
year?
yeah, of last year,
I mean, last year, I should say. Yep.
2025.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was going to the PBA LBC in Chicago. I went to bowl that with my
Okay.
friend, and I was just talking with some other bowlers, and they showed me pin pals, and I was like, oh, what is
Yep.
pin pals? And I started looking at it, and I was like, well, this is pretty cool. I like how it can do the leagues, not just tournaments. I was like, well, I can do leagues too. So then it turned into leagues, frame tracking, pin tracking, score tracking, lane conditions. It just cascaded from there, but it all stemmed from user interaction and talking with other bowlers. Because I talk to everyone, especially at a
Mm-hmm.
bowling alley. Most people know me, and I'll just be like, I'll see you using an app. I said, why do you use that app?
Yeah.
And like, there was this one lady. She was from New Orleans, wonderful old lady, and she's writing everything down in a journal. So I
Mm.
added a full journal system to
Mm-hmm.
the app.
Okay.
So it's pretty there, but the whole premise behind the app was just to track my tournament scores. And originally I was going to call it Tournament Tracker,
Yeah.
but that
Okay.
name was already trademarked from
Mm.
a golf company for golf tournaments. And they don't even do anything with it. It's just sitting there. Like, and I was
Mhm.
like, I literally had everything. I had a logo. I had the app set up in the store ready for beta. And then I had to change the name, and I was like trying to brainstorm, and I was like, you know what? I'll go with Tournament Sense. And I like the TS. It just flowed off my tongue. I was like, you know what? This makes sense. But it doesn't have to do with leagues. It was all originally around tournaments, and that's why it's called Tournament Sense.
Okay.
And that's
Nice.
how it all
Nice.
came about, was just the need of, did I cash enough to not get disqualified?
Right, 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 right. That's actually an interesting beginning because it makes sense because you always want to know like, am I going to cash?
And I made it for
And
myself
like
originally.
yeah, and like you said, the popular question is always, have I made $600? And nobody, we
Yeah.
don't keep track of that. You'll keep
No.
track of like the big wins, but maybe it's like thousands, but you kind of don't keep track of maybe
Well, I
five,
see
six
people, they
below.
have Apple Notes on their phone, and they
Hmm.
pull up notes, and they got to search all these notes. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it has to be an easier way. And then I get lessons from my coach, Aaron Major. And I was
Hmm.
talking to him. I said, "Oh, what do you do?" He's like, "Well, I track stuff in these spreadsheets and this and that." And because he has a business side of it, that they have business software that not
Okay.
everyone's going to use.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, interesting." And that I'll tie into that later on in my updates for you, because I think you'll really like that stuff. But it was just like when I was telling him my idea, because I just started getting lessons last year. I've been working with him for about a year, and I was telling him my idea, and he was like, "That's actually really good." Like, he goes, "I think
Hmm.
it's very popular and valuable." And then I reached out to Tim Foy Jr., the
Yep.
PBA pro, and I said, "Hey, I have this idea. This is the app I'm working on. What are your thoughts on this?" And he's like, "I like that idea." Like, he actually reiterated and believed in what I thought of, and I was like, "Oh, this could be something that people actually get value out of."
Hmm.
So it just reiterated and made me just go deeper down that rabbit hole, and that's why it's as robust as it is today. And it's only
Nice.
getting more better.
Yeah.
More better is what I like to say.
Nice, nice. So my next question is, so give us a little bit of insight on your professional background. Like, how this
Yeah.
came about. Are you, what do you do from a day to day besides bowl?
Yeah, so
How do we got here?
I'm a military veteran, so I was in the Army for a number of years. Full time, I'm a IT professional. So I've worked for major companies like HP.
Hmm.
It's a popular company most people will know. So my day-to-day job, from my 9 to 5, if you will, I don't work
Yep.
9 to 5, but my 9 to 5 is I'm a full-time professional IT person. So I'm
Okay.
working in the data center, dealing with the servers and the equipment and stuff is what I do on a day-to-day basis. I have a little bit of knowledge of coding, right? I can understand code and so forth. And this is why the vibe coding with the GPT and cloud and Gemini and all that is great, because it helps me as a creative person think of stuff. Um, I like to tinker, right? So I was a
Hmm.
mechanic in the military. I used to own a Jeep, and I went from owning a Jeep to spending like $40,000 in modifications that I did on myself on that Jeep. And then I opened up a Jeep modification business doing sound and audio and lights, and that was very successful. But then I
Hmm.
was like, it was just too much. And I said, no, I got to step away. But what that did was that allowed me to start bowling. And now I also started down the pro shop journey. So I do some apprenticeship hours at my local pro shop in Cranston.
Okay.
Because my ultimate goal is, when I retire, I just want to work in a bowling alley and sit in a pro shop.
Yeah.
So I figured
Yeah.
now by that time, I'll have like 20, 30 years experience
Hmm.
and so forth. And I'm a dad. I have 4 kids,
Okay.
4 grandpuppies, grandbaby. Oh,
Hmm.
technically 5 kids because my goddaughter. So five kids. So
Okay.
that's me in a nutshell. I love video gaming. I used to stream. I used to blog.
Hmm.
It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have a lot of different hobbies.
Oh yeah.
So it's good
I
to,
keep busy. And I
yeah.
travel a lot. I love to travel. I love to go places. I
Hmm.
love to go places to bowl different centers.
Hmm.
Um, so
Okay. Yeah. Then definitely, your 9 to 5 being in IT, that just makes this app even better.
oh
You're
yeah.
constantly knowing how to fix X, Y, and Z.
Just don't ask me how to change my auto set on my camera.
Oh, or you said it's shifting as we go.
Yeah, it's like, man, what are you doing?
All right, so we got a little bit of your professional background. So let's talk about your love for bowling because I heard you say you haven't been bowling too long. So where does
Correct.
your love for bowling
Yeah,
come?
so what happened was um one day, maybe 2018, yeah, it was like 2018, my wife comes to me and said, "Hey babe, you want to go bowling with my work?" And well, let me back up 2 steps.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, my brother-in-law said to me, "Hey, Luigi, he was in a bowling league, and he's like, "Hey, Luigi, do you want to do a bowling league with me and his brother-in-law?" And I was like, I'm not really into bowling like that. I
Mm-hmm.
said, "So you want to go every so often?" Yeah, because I wasn't great. I'm not still great, but I enjoy it. And I was like, "No." A few months later, my wife says, "Hey, you want to come bowling?" I'm thinking it's like a one-time outing. So I go, we're bowling. And they all say, "Okay, see you next week." I'm like, "What do you mean, see you next week?" And they're
Right.
like, "Yeah, this is like a little bowling club. We do it from January to May every year on Thursday." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay." Well, at that rate, I was wearing stinky house shoes. I was wearing a ball that couldn't fit my hand. I was like, "This ain't
Yeah,
happening."
you had
So
the
literally
beginner
the
stuff.
next day, yeah, the next day, Bree, I went and I bought a bowling ball. I bought shoes. I spent like
Nice.
$300. I was just like, take my money. So I did that for a few months, and that following September, I actually joined that league that my brother-in-law had asked me because I actually started to enjoy the camaraderie with the friends. So something happened to that bowling ball, and I needed to get it fixed. So I went to the local pro shop in Cranston because the guy that originally sold it to me in Providence is, I think he passed away. So I was talking to this gentleman, Dave, a body, and I was sitting there talking with him. I said, "All right." I show up to the shop, and it's a different guy there, and
Hmm.
he takes his time. He walks through, and I'm giving him my name, and he just looks at me, and he's like, "Shut up," and I'm like, what? I almost wanted to hit the guy at first, but I'm not like that. But I was just like, what? What do you mean, shut up? And he's like, look at me. And I'm like, okay. He goes, don't you know who I am? I'm like, no. And he's like, look at my face. And I'm like, yeah, no. And it was my army brother Curtis, who I also work in the pro shop with.
Okay.
But I hadn't seen him in like 20 years, right?
Oh,
Since they
wow.
went to, I didn't go to Iraq. My friends went to Iraq in
Hmm.
my military unit, because I had health stuff.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, last time I seen him, he was like this, Bree. Now he's like this. Not super
Oh,
fat, but
wow.
he's like gray beard. Like, I'm like,
Yeah,
dude.
he's
So I
definitely
think
doesn't
really
look the same.
so starting to bowl with my army brother really sparked that interest. And then
Okay.
I just met other really good bowlers, and my buddy Bobby bowls like a 300 just about every other day. It's like it's literally, I think it's like, come on, Bobby. Like, so I really like that. And then just more people I meet as I go across, and it's really what's driving me to enjoy it.
Nice, nice, nice.
So
So, how would you say, since even though, like you said, you haven't bowled that many tournaments, how would you say your own tournament experience has helped you develop the app a little bit more? And do you see this app being the long-term tool for bowling?
I do. And so the reason I see it as one, it stemmed from my own problem that I was personally having, that with doing tournaments, right? Is I need
Mhm.
to track my stuff. I'm trying to get better. I'd like to eventually get to a 600, right? I know it's not
Yeah.
glamorous thing, but well, how do I know I did? Well, sometimes I forget what I ate yesterday. So
Hmm.
at least having something that I can easily see the data, because I'm a nerd, right?
Yeah.
I love being nerdy. So I like data. I like data correlation of things, right? So for me, I can go historically back and say, hey, what did I do here? And oh, what did I do this, that, and I can see that historical pattern and how I can try to improve. Like I did my first NEBA tournament. I did a minus
Hmm.
300,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
I'm a 160 bowler. These guys are all 220s, right? Or
Hmm.
above. I'm there for the experience to get a tougher pattern and this and then challenge myself. Well,
Yeah.
now I can go back and say, hey, last time I did this event, I was minus 300. Now I'm minus 250.
Hmm.
I'm improving.
Improving. Yeah.
So it
Making
knows that
progress.
the works that I'm doing, and the way that my tournament experience has helped shape the current state of the app and the future state of the app is
Hmm.
by talking to people like yourself while I'm at the event. Like the lady in Chicago, talking to her and implementing a full journal system, right?
Yeah.
Based off of stuff that you see. I add it in and you'll see it in the app. Something I never thought about, but it's on just about every single tournament form is the plus or minus. I still
Yeah.
didn't even figure that
Yeah.
out. I'm like
Yeah,
plus
plus
minus 200,
200. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
added
Based
that
off of
in this
200.
update where it will auto calculate that in the series total. It'll tell
Okay.
you what your plus or minus is
Mm-hmm.
because that's something that's valuable to users
Yep.
and so forth. So that's how it gets shaped is by using it. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I think of something and it may be off. Like my son uses the app and he's like, "Hey dad, um that's the other thing. I got my son into bowling. But he's like, "Hey, can I get more league reports? Because I can't really see league reports." And I was like, "Wait, there's no league reports?" Right? So it's things that while you're working on it and you're pigeonholed on trying to
Mm-hmm.
get it to work right
Yeah.
and function properly, that someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, this should do this." Like my buddy Chris says, "Hey, I would love it if your center performance by center report showed me a list of all the events that I did at that venue because
Mm-hmm.
I don't always remember that." Well, how many spreadsheets are
Yeah.
you going to go through to find that information? Well, I
Yeah,
can tell
exactly.
you in a couple of clicks, like maybe 3 clicks, and it'll be there for you.
Yeah, because like you said, you may be going through all of the spreadsheets or all of the notes in your Apple Notes and things like that. So it makes it
Yeah.
easier. Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. So now let's get into the super fun part. So I know we've gone into your background a little bit, your love for why you started the app. So for people that don't know anything about this app, and I've stated in our talks before, I've used this app a couple of times already, and it's very beneficial. It provides value to every bowler. So if they don't know about the app,
Yep.
can you show us a little bit of first scenes of what the app looks like?
Yeah.
Kind of
Let
give
me
us a background on some of the features. And
what I want to do is, if it's okay with you, I'm
yeah.
gonna share. This is a live preview. This is an actual live update.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
connected to the dev environment, so I'm running it ad hoc on my phone right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just gotta log in over here and share my screen. Let's see on my phone because I have my phone in my hand, so you can see.
Yep. No
I'm not gonna
problem.
hold it up like that, folks. Don't worry. Don't worry, I'm not gonna do that to you. I did test this one. Only the host can share in this meeting.
Let me see. Yeah, let me see if I can change that for you.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Let me see.
You don't need to make me personally the one talking, the other one that doesn't have anything that needs to be. Maybe if you make it a co-host, possibly, if that would do it. See, this is that technology gotchas. It's like I'm so used to sharing screens. It's like, how can you not let people share screens?
Yep. Yep. Let me see here real quick. Do this host tool
But I
share.
can talk to about it and then I can explain it a little more in detail. Um, the app is designed to allow a bowler to know their bowling game, right? And from that, it means to track all your vital statistics, right? The stuff that you want, because you choose not what to put in there and what not to put in there and how to put in there. I try to make it very flexible for users and to give users options in the different methods. See if it does it.
Let me see if I can get this to go real quick. Should be very simple. Let's see.
And you would think it would be very simple.
Tools for share. Ah, got it. There we go. All right. You should be able to share now.
All right, let's try and see what it does. Ah,
Sorry
perfect.
about
There
that
we go.
delay.
All right, so we're gonna go start broadcast. Okay, so you can see my screen. This is my live screen. As you can tell, it's 1919 right now. So from here, this is the app when you first load into it. This is the new screen. This is the new layout.
Okay.
Currently, if you were to download the app right now today, there's 4 squares that
Mm-hmm.
say Tournaments, Leagues, Practice, Journal. and then the
Yep.
latest stats are underneath it. And the latest stats, all honesty, I broke them when I was trying to get fancy, right? Instead of just trying to do something simple, what I was trying to do originally was have it go over your last 21 games, it adds up your last 21 games, and then it spits out your average. Well, that was a nightmare because it worked for a short period of time and then just stopped
Hmm.
working. So now I fixed that in this update and I changed the look of it because
Okay.
I was like, I want it to look better and easier. And you can
Hmm.
probably see that there's a little grayed out thing here, right? This thing that says expenses, and I'll get into
Hmm.
that in a minute.
Okay.
So what happens here is, so when you first load in, as you can see, there's just a small ad, right? It's controlled by Google Ad Mob, so it's going to go
Hmm.
off of your own stuff. I try to keep it very minimalistic, and it should never pop out at you. It should always be. So if you don't want to pay for a premium subscription, that's all the ad you'll ever see is just on the top there, just like that. Doesn't impede any of the function whatsoever,
Okay.
right? League Secretary, you go to check their website, you get spammed with like 100 different.
Yes.
It drives me
Yes.
crazy, and I was like, I don't want that. And in full
Yes.
disclosure, I mean, I have 140 users right now. Last time I
Nice. Okay.
checked, I made like $1. I probably made like $4, if that, in total from September to today from
Okay.
ad revenue. It's nothing crazy, but it's there. So if you come into tournaments, you can see here, you can list out all your tournaments, right? And I just added this in, the archive feature. So if you do an old tournament, 2025, I don't need that one anymore. I can archive it. And now if I do show archived, it'll tell me the archive tournaments that I have.
Okay.
So that way you only see all your latest tournaments. You can archive it. You can do the same thing for leagues as well. But if I click into here, you can see this is the plus or minus we were talking about.
Yes.
So I was minus between 12 games, I was minus 478, right?
Hmm.
I'm not the greatest bowler. If you see here, you look at my scores, right? This was my original recap screen. And then Mr. Foy Jr. there, Tim, he's like, Luigi, people love to share their stats, right?
Hmm.
You, I see it all the time. So I created this, and this is coming out in the new um, report.
Nice.
I created
Ah,
this
this
recap
is
screen,
amazing.
right?
Yeah, this
So
is
here,
amazing.
it gets better. This right here is just your quick performance recap. It's just, simple. You can share this, or you can come over here and
Hmm.
you could share your pin frames.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you can see all your leaves. This is all my official
Hmm.
terrible stats, right? Um, this one wasn't too bad, a 189. These are official scores. But I was like, I like options, right, Bree? So if
Hmm.
you click these little settings buttons here, you have the ability to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to show the pins per frame. So I save it. I just go back.
Hmm.
Now they're gone.
Okay.
So I allowed users to have a little bit of flexibility in what
Hmm.
they want to show and showcase,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And this will change. There'll be more options, less options. Down the road, I plan on adding a complete customizable where you make your own report that you choose to make and you
Hmm.
can save it up there. And I'll probably do so many for free and maybe like one report for free. And then after that, it'll go into the the pro version because you got to try and get something for people.
Yeah, of
Um,
course. Of course.
so then if I go into leagues, and this was the other big thing for me with this app is I don't know how many leagues you're in. I'm in two. I sub in a couple,
I'm
and
into,
the
yep.
ones that I'm in, I'd always go. I'd always go to the envelope and I'd start calculating every single day. I'd start from week one. I start adding
Yeah.
up how much money I've paid, and I'm
Yeah.
like, man, you know what? I know I'm ahead, or am I? No, let me do it. So in
Yeah,
my
and this
league
is the key
session,
that stuck out to me when I was
yeah, in
first
my
using the
league
app.
session, I added this. And this came
Hmm.
from talking with my buddy Curtis as well, because he was trying to figure it out one day and I was just sitting there watching them. And so what I did was I added in, you enter in the league amount,
Okay.
how much so you would do that when you create a league. I'm just going
Hmm.
to do edit a league. So when you create a league, you put the league total cost here. And then you can put, say you initially created it and you put money down, you could put
Hmm.
that here and it'll go towards the cumulative.
Okay.
Um, and that's pretty much the stuff for the league.
Okay.
Um,
But you can do it week by week. You could
yep. So
say,
that I'm going to get into that. So you could do it when you initially create it, but what happens is when you go into an actual event and
hmm.
you're creating your stuff, it says I try to label as nice as possible. The financial side here will tell you, hey, how much did you pay? Most people pay 25, 30 bucks a week. You could
Hmm.
put that in here, and if I was to change this, it should, I'll just put $37. Let's see now. Let's see if it goes back. See how now it automatically changes. It says, hey, you still owe 500 or
Nice.
I owe
Okay. Yeah. So
$338.
you can initially put how like calculate how much the league is for the year. And
Correct.
then
And then
okay.
each week, every week it goes through, it'll tell you that it's different. So now I come back to the edit thing and I just do that's my handicap, 375. Right. Now,
Hmm.
I know one of the things that you said you had won a bracket before.
Yes.
So what happens is, what would happen with that is, if I was to do a bracket, this happens in tournaments too.
Hmm.
In the event underneath the tournament or the league, you would click add a bracket. And this is actually going to change. It's not going to say brackets.
Okay.
It's going to say side pots or side
Yeah.
action
That's yeah, that
because
makes
Tim
sense.
said that's more aligned with the industry. And I'm like, I didn't know that. Like I always
Yeah,
thought it was
yeah.
just I
Bracket
just call
side
them brackets.
pots.
So it's
Hmm.
going to be called side pots, and there'll be
Okay.
brackets within there. So let's just say we did a $5 handicap eliminator,
Okay.
right? And I did it. I'm just going to save it just so
And
it
let me
saves.
actually, can you go back? I just want to
Yeah,
show
I'm going.
people the
Yep.
different options for the pots.
And that's going to change too
Yep.
as I know more pots.
Yep. Yeah.
So right now I have handicap eliminator, scratch eliminator, handicap high, scratch high, high game, progressive pot, mystery doubles. I feel like
Hmm.
adding 50-50 in there just because I always do a 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
why not?
because. But so what happens, Bree, is if you win, say you go back, you did your
Hmm.
event, you saved your thing. All
Hmm.
you do is click winner,
Yep.
and then you enter the winnings here.
Yep. And that's a key. I was like, oh man, I said he hit it right on the nose.
Yep.
I
So then
said
here,
when
say we won.
it's great.
I actually won brackets the other day. I won $80. So
Okay.
we'll just say $80 and I'm going to leave it saved in there. Now here, when you're in an event, whether you're in a practice session, tournament session, league session, this is the new screen. This is what it looks like now.
Okay.
Um, there's a few changes from the screen as it currently sits to how it is now. I tried to make it as clean as possible. I tried doing where you tap the number of pins that you put down, you pick up, or the ones still remaining. So it got too complicated trying to do a toggle of this, that, back. It was messing up the math. So I went to two simple ways. The way you track your scores, I'm going to go to a new game if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I kind of want to show people that haven't used
And
the app. You know,
remember,
let's.
this is an actual dev environment right now, so
Hmm.
this is gonna mess with me, isn't it? Yeah, I gotta restart it. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Give me a second. Because I'm using a dev one right now,
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
and I'll show you how the difference is when you do it. But you can see it's getting pretty robust
Yeah, especially for the
because
first time I've used it.
yeah, so what you can do in that new screen is and the way it has, the reason I have it laid out for that specific way
Mhm.
is because I wanted you to have the ability to change your ball with every single roll. So you can
Okay.
go through and say, okay, I use the Apex Predator on my first strike ball. Then I use my custom Tournament Sense plastic ball for my spare
Okay.
ball, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can change
Yeah,
all that.
let's see
Oh,
that.
mid
Yeah.
game, you end up changing the roll, right? You
Hmm.
change the ball that you use halfway through a game.
Yeah.
Well, this will now tell you that.
Okay.
It'd also
Yeah. I
track
would like to
in
see
the
that.
you'll eventually get ball stats for this. Again, this is a tethered version of, and I'm actually working on the actual dev from the dev environment right now. So that's
Hmm.
why it's going there. So I'm going to research that error on there. So I'm just going
Okay.
to go to a practice session
Okay.
and we'll just choose any center, East Providence. Number of games, one.
Okay.
So there's a few things that I did here is one, I added in lanes per game. So you could do it manually if you didn't want to track your scores manually like this, you don't have to. And I'll show you that too when I create an event under a tournament.
Okay.
Um, what happens here is say I want to say I was in 23 and 24.
Okay.
So now it knows I'm on 23, 24.
Mm-hmm.
And say my first ball was a 5 pin I left. And I didn't select the ball there. So we're going to say my spare ball here. I hit it. I'm going to come back here to this one. And I want to change. No, where is it?
So do you tap on the frame itself to
Yeah,
change it?
you would tap. So you can see I tap that shows that little corner.
Okay.
This should be the whole box. So if I come to this little thing and I say, "Oh, I hit that." And
Okay.
then here this whole thing is highlighted except for that little corner as you can see. That
Mm-hmm.
means that the first frame is selected or the first ball is
Okay.
selected. And I'm just going to go so you can see that
Okay.
it's there. Now if I come to the tournament events just to show you there's the other way to score and you could do it for leagues as well. I just want to use an existing tournament. Um, the other way you can do it is you can enter your lanes right here within this. You don't have to do the manual entry. You're like, oh, that's too much work. I just wanted my finalized stats,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can put that all here as well. You
Okay.
can just put the score, what lanes you're on, what ball you were used, and save it, and it's done. It auto
Okay.
calculate your handicap, your total, and all that. So there's the three robust ways. The other way, oh, I did meant to show you this way too. Sorry. In the just to practice. In this session, you can do it by pin, or you can do it by number of pins that fall in. So if you don't want to track per pin,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're like, I don't care. I just want to know I got 9 pins. You can just choose it, and then it gives you the option of what you want to select and so forth. The reason I like to give options is because people like options. I try
Yeah.
to make it easy, but the biggest thing about tracking your frames, and I like to track my pins, is
Mm-hmm.
because I like to see this screen here. I like to
Yeah.
know how many 10 pins I've converted,
Mm-hmm.
right? I've left 370 10 pins. Well, I need to work on my 10 pins if I keep leaving them, right? And this screen right here is pretty standard. I think a lot of the bowling apps have a screen similar to this,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
where this is going to get brought into is I'm going to add what if analyses. So, what if I do this and then there's other things coming that'll lead into coaching stuff and
Okay.
say, well, hey, you should probably try these drills or whatever towards
Nice. Okay.
improving your game,
Yeah.
um, and so forth. But
Yeah.
the financial side, the reason we
Yep.
did
Let's
brackets,
dive. Yeah, let's dive into
you can
that.
see here that we have the financial reports. This is going to get more, and I call this the Joey report because the guy that I originally talked to, Joey Nero,
Mm-hmm.
he is the guy that I know that runs a lot of side action. So I reached out to him and just got a feeler for some of the stuff. So I named a report after him
Okay.
in the thing. So this screen, and the beauty about me is this is going to get updated. It's going to change. It's going to look differently. There'll be more stuff added to it, based off of users' feedback and so forth. Overall financial report, you can see here. Um, there's one thing that you don't see here because this is on the financial side, and this is geared more towards your pro amateurs. This next feature.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can see I'm in a test feature because I'm going to force that I'm a pro user right now. And if I come back to the home screen, you see now I have the expenses open.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's now unlocked. And what is this is pretty cool. This is actually a full expense module.
Oh
So you
wow.
can track, as you can see here, I track an equipment, right? It's a bowling
Mm-hmm.
ball. I put where I bought it from. It was $75. I can track it. So I can come here. I got
Oh
bowling
man.
costs, pro
Oh,
shop services,
lodging.
lodging,
Oh
meals,
man.
travel, other things
Yeah.
that you can use from a tax
Yeah.
standpoint, right? Think of that. Or if you
Yes.
just want to track that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. You're kind of just seeing how much am I
Yep.
spending on bowling and what am I getting back? Oh
So
yeah,
that's
this is good
all
stuff.
that's all right there. Then you have the report generator. So once you have all your expenses in, you have
Mm-hmm.
the report generator here that you can then export it out to a PDF or a CSV file for your tax professional. But it's handy dandy right here. I
This is
do
good
plan on
stuff.
working on the stats filtering will
Mm-hmm.
look similar to this page right here.
Mm-hmm.
Not in this next update because that's going to take me too long and I want to get the few little bugs that are out there fixed and some of these features in there being used and people can try them out and say, hey, yeah, this really works great. Um, So all the stats filtering is going to end up looking similar to this, where you can have easy selections, save it, and then you'll be able to
Mhm.
filter through like any of the stats, screens like that.
Okay, yeah, this is actually I'm glad you showed that because for me personally, being on Columbia 300 staff, I buy a lot of bowling balls throughout the year. So
I'm not on
and
staff and I
I'm a
buy a lot
tour
of
and
bowling
I'm
balls.
yeah, and I'm a tournament player. So
Yeah.
being able to track, how much it takes to get to point A and point B for a tournament, tracking how many bowling balls I'm buying throughout the year, that expenses one is key. And I think the biggest thing that I love about this app, and I'm actually gets into our next question, is the financial aspect of it.
Yep.
Because a lot of these apps that we have now, they're simply just um, tracking apps. So, primarily, what's one feature that you would say, since working on this app, that is a key standout to serious tournament players?
Well, I would say definitively the initial thought process behind it was to track my win-ins,
Mm-hmm.
right? And progressions over time,
Mm-hmm.
um, and having that handily, readily available to me without having to dig through a
Yeah.
bunch of crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that is the differentiator of Tournament Sense of over any of the bowling apps, over Lane Talk, Pin Pal, Bowl Sheet, Bowler. There's a few others out there. And the other thing too, Pin Pal. I'm not knocking Pin Pal.
Mm-hmm.
PinPal's a great app. It's got a great user base. People love it. I
Mm-hmm.
see people. This is probably the number one app I see besides Lane Talk, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you my Lane Talk story as to when I started this was I used to be a Lane Talk Pro user, right? I
Mm-hmm.
subscribed to it, this that. Then they start raising the price over and over again.
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
canceled my premium membership and I go to log back in to log something just before I this is before I started this,
Mm-hmm.
and like my profile was deleted. I had to
Mm.
start from one. I'm like, I have 3 years of data that was just stored in
In the
Lane
cloud.
Talk,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
gone. I'm like, what are you doing, guys? And
Yeah.
I'm not knocking them. They have a great product. I think they went to market wrong in the way that
Mm-hmm.
they just flipped on people. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, even on Reddit, a lot of people weren't happy with Lane
Yeah,
Talk
I
for
was
what
just
they
about to say
did.
that. You're not the only
Um,
one. It was a lot of people on
so that's good for
Facebook
someone like me who's coming in
that
with this new app,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So the financial aspect and the financial tracking, I would say, is the number one differentiator currently today. I do
Okay.
have the ability right now to import PinPal databases. So
Mm.
if you use PinPal, what I would do is you would just come over to support, I mean settings, you go to
Mm-hmm.
data settings, and
Okay.
then you would just import from PinPal.
Wow.
I plan on adding when I add in Baker style games,
Mm-hmm.
and a few other game styles. I plan on adding in bowl sheet support as well. Import bowl
Okay.
sheet. I think it's bowl sheet or bowler. I think it's bowl sheet. That
Now,
has
this
that.
feature that you said for importing, is that just on the pro or
No. So
okay, it's
the
okay.
pro so for 90% of the app is free to use, ad supported.
Okay.
Um, There should actually technically be an ad where it says data management, but because I'm a pro user right now, in
Mm-hmm.
quotes, it's not
Mm-hmm.
going to show it. So 90% is there. However, if say you were like, you use the app for a while and you're like, I want to save all my data,
Yeah.
right? In order to export data, you have to be a pro user,
Mm-hmm.
right? But in order to import a um, from PinPal. It's 100% free. I try to gear it towards as being as free as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there is cost associated with running an app and so forth. But I try to keep it that way. I try to make it as user friendly as
Yeah.
possible and accessible to everyone, right?
Yeah.
Because not everyone wants that, but not everyone needs all the features, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's coming, like the custom report builder. You may not need it, so you won't pay for this pro subscription to enable that feature because that will be behind the pro feature, besides the canned reports.
Mm-hmm.
So just
Yeah.
like the expense module isn't for everyone, like, but I'm not gatekeeping you entering your financial data at all. That's always going to be
Yeah.
100% open because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want.
Well, I think that feature is a key differentiator for you from all of these other apps.
Well,
It's
none of them
nice
have
to
an expense module, I can tell you that.
yeah, tracking your frame by frame. There are other apps that can do that, but
Yeah.
the differentiator for this one, which is
Well,
why I wanted to talk to you, is definitely about
the
tracking
other
your finances when it comes to bowling.
yeah, the other thing, Bree, too, is I'm open to um technology alliances and integrations with other folks.
Okay.
So I reached out to, I don't know if you know about the app called Lane Tracks.
Yes, I have heard
So
about that.
I love the Lane Tracks app. It's like a little mobile Specto in my pocket. I
Mm-hmm.
use it all the time. I can actually, since I'm sharing my screen, I'll show you Lane Tracks, right? This is a great app. I know it's not my app, but I don't care,
Yeah.
right? So if I come to reports yesterday, you should probably talk to these guys next if they were, these guys are excellent. If it loads up. Come on. Come on, report. I reached out to the Lane Tracks guys
Okay.
because I'm working on probably the end of March timeframe, March, April-ish timeframe. I'm adding in a
Mhm.
full coaching module.
That,
So
yeah.
there'll be a two. So this is Lane Tracks. This is me throwing my ball. Don't mind me
Okay.
and my terrible shot. But you can start to see, um, let's see here. You can see they do a nice replay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if it shows the data. All right, it shows you the data of where it goes, the break point, the angle, the speed.
Mm-hmm.
You can see all that. So
Yeah.
for me and Tournament Sense, when I do a coaching module, it'd be nice if me as a coach, I have a lane track subscription, or me as a student, I have a lane track subscription,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to share that data with my coach.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be able to, there's going to be integrations from a student standpoint and a coach's standpoint. Whereas I do a lot of tournaments. Right now, I send my coach, I send Aaron all my reports. Like I send him my screenshots, I send him the everything. I'm like, this is how I did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, by say June, all the integrations will be in there that when I do
Okay.
an event, I can just send to coach. It'll send it to the coach, and the coach will get a nice report saying, "Hey, Luigi did this. He noticed that he left a lot of 10 pins and spares, missed spares. What are we going to
Mm-hmm.
work on? We need to work on spares." You know what I did yesterday? I
Worked on
drilled
space.
spares for an hour with my coach.
Yeah.
That's all we did. Literally shoot 3-6-10, 3-6-10, 3-6-10,
Yeah.
target and trying to find the right target, the motion. That's all I did for an hour, 3-6-10, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
So that enables not only the coach, this is good for the high school bowlers, the college bowlers, right? And this is where I start looking at the NCAA women's teams, men's
Yes.
teams, right?
Yes.
You start getting on the national level and you get that adoption. Now you have the bowler like me using the app on my phone. The coach can then make their notes, share notes, have private notes.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming.
Yeah.
So
You're working hard. I can
that's a
tell.
sneaky, sneak peek. And
Yep,
there's gonna
you
be no
are.
other app that does that.
No, no. Yeah, you're working hard. I could definitely tell.
Yeah, I need to add the Baker style. That's one of the things that
Yeah,
I need
for
added.
NCAA. Yeah, I
Yeah,
bowl in
just
college, so that is one
yeah.
of the major games that are used, Baker games. I mean, you have the regular traditionals, but Baker's is
Yep.
key. So
I'm
that
gonna
you're
add
able to
9 pin
track
no tap
spares.
as well. And then I plan on adding candle pin as an option because I have a few friends that
Mm-hmm.
do candle pin bowling. So up here in the
Okay.
Northeast, candle pin bowling is very popular. So
Okay.
if I get 5 people to use it, one person to use it and enjoy it, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Like I went to a tournament and someone was actually using my app. And I gave
That's
her,
good.
I had some chamois made. I'm gonna send you one too, Bree.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
appreciate it.
so I had just randomly this lady was using my app because I had sponsored the tournament and she was using the app. And I was like,
Mhm.
I know that app. And I was like, hey, what app are you using? And she's like, oh, I'm using this. And I said, I like that. I said, did you know I actually created that app? And she's like, what? And she's a local bowler too, right? Because I only watched some events over here so far.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because I'm not rich. I do this all out of pocket. My wife thinks I'm crazy, but like this, my extra money goes towards the bowling stuff and redeveloping this app and so forth. But yeah, I sent it to her because I was just happy that a random person that I didn't really know, I know her boyfriend or one of her partners that she was bowling with,
Hmm.
Demetrius. But I was like, you're using my app. It made my day. So I sponsored another event because of that.
Yeah,
But one person used it, and I was like, I'm sold. Like it was just nice.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing just to be able to see that. And
Like when I got your message, I was like, how did you hear about this? Like some random person used it, like Akeem that sent me the email about the USB-C thing. He
hmm
was like, hey, I'm like, this is some person I don't personally know using
hmm
my app, and it just makes me feel happy.
Yeah, yeah. And actually it's a good thing that you touched on that. So let's get into actually dive in a little bit deeper with that.
Yep.
So
You want me to
like
stop
we
sharing the screen over here, or
uh yeah, you could. Yeah. Yeah, at least for now. There's a couple I know we'll probably dive
well,
back
I'll leave it
into.
open just in case. That way,
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
don't have
fine.
to
Yeah.
reshare it or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah. So like I stated before, just for some background for the folks. I stumbled upon the app from my friendship with Tim Foy. So Tim Foy and our friends, we been on a staff together, addicted to bowling, and then we're also fellow staff mates with Brandon Brunswick. Tim Foy comes to many different local tournaments in the Maryland area, so when I saw that he was connected with this app, I saw his post. And you corrected me. He's a strategic advisor for
Correct. Yep.
yeah, it's a strategic advisor with you. So when I saw his post, I said, "Oh, let me check out this app and see, see what it's about." And I was like, "Oh." I said, "Wow." I said, "It really." I think, like I told you, the key thing that stands out to me is that it tracks your financials.
Yeah.
Because every
No.
other app, and I've utilized PinPal before. It tracks your spares and strikes, and you track your ball and what bowling alley you go to, and all that's cool. But I think the key thing that stands out is how much money am I making from bowling. So I can keep
No.
all that stuff in my head. Like, yeah, I missed 4 10 pins today during league for 3 games, but
Yeah.
how much am I spending for bowling, and am I getting it back? So just talk about a little bit of how you and Tim came about to this
Yeah,
partnership.
that's a great funny story too. I just slid into his DMs. So real quick, I just started watching the PBA on TV 2 years ago. Right, I just got into bowling, watching it, like physically watching it. I watch it like I watch my New England Patriots. I record it. I even if I know who wins, I still watch them even afterwards multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And EJ Tackett was my favorite bowler, right? Because he's the one that actually got me into watching PBA. And then
Mm-hmm.
there was Bill O'Neill. And I was like, I really like Bill O'Neill. And then there was this guy that I saw from Delaware named Tim
Yep.
Foy. And I was like, I really like that guy. And I was like, and
Yep.
then I
Two
found out
hander.
he's a corrections officer. And I was like, you know what? I said, I feel like we would be on the same league team, right? Tim and I. Like we would
Mm-hmm.
just have a lot of laughs and get together. So when I was thinking about, I always wanted to have someone from the PBA, like national tour, as an advisor. Not as there's a difference between an advisor and like the brand ambassadorship, where they're
Mm-hmm.
just pimping your brand and they're just making posts and so forth. I didn't want that because I wanted to make something for bowlers by bowlers
Yeah.
that was geared more towards the pro amateur, like my coach Aaron Major, right? Who's another great PBA. He's not national PBA, but he's a great PBA player, and he's an excellent coach for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I followed him on Instagram with the Tournament Sense account, and I
Mm-hmm.
slid into his DMs, and I was like, "Hey Tim, I'm developing this app, and I'd love to know if maybe we can work out some kind of partnership, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And he was in France at the time, and
Okay.
he's like, I'll check it out when I get back stateside. I
Mm-hmm.
said he actually responded first and foremost. He responded,
Yeah, he's
and
a
I
good
was like,
guy.
thank you. And I also had reached out to a PWBA bowler, Ashley Galante, because I like her content,
Okay.
and she just said she was overcommitted with sponsorships and stuff. And I was like, I totally respect that. That's not like I just like the content that she was generating. And so Tim and I had a conversation, and I explained to him what the app was and what my vision for the app is. Because there's
Mm-hmm.
more to the vision, as you can see, the coach and stuff and so forth. He's like, I really like that vision. And I said, Tim, I said, I'm not asking you to make posts. You don't even have to tell people you use the app. All I ask is that you use the app and you provide feedback off of your experience to help me shape the direction of the app.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I asked of him. And he was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. And a couple weeks later, I get a text. Hey, you should do this. Boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Right. And
Yeah.
then we slowly text and talk, I texted him before he started the tour.
Yep. Today.
Um,
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
then I was very fortunate. I was able to, he has my logo on his jersey, on the back of his
Nice.
jersey, which
Nice.
to see that, right,
Yeah.
was surreal. But for me, it really was that he believed in the product I was putting forward and the vision that I had for bowlers,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the number one thing has always been the financial side, right? So the expense
Yes.
module, that expense
Especially,
module,
especially for pros.
well,
Yeah.
that's what he said. He was like,
Mm-hmm.
and he was harping on me before the start of this week, end of last week. He's like, "Hey, when's that update gonna come out? Because I
No,
want to show
seriously. Yeah.
people while
Yeah.
I'm out there
Mm-hmm.
what would this happen." I was like, I'm trying to get it finished, and I was sharing all these updates with him over the weekend. And I don't like just to randomly text him, right? Because I try to
Mm-hmm.
be respectful of the relationship that we have,
Mm-hmm.
but we've formed a pretty good working relationship from that regard. Like sometimes I share my tournament stuff with him, like how I bowled and stuff and whatnot. And I plan on meeting him when he comes up to Maine. Like I'm
Okay.
gonna be up in Maine to watch the Roth Holman doubles. So
Okay.
I'll be up there watching that. I
Mm-hmm.
got tickets to the final already. But I'll
Nice.
be
Okay.
there a few days before watching the practices and stuff, and I'll actually get to meet him. But yeah, I just slid into his DMs randomly, and he's like, at first I thought it was spam. That's what he told me. He said, at first I thought it was spam. And, I
Yeah.
mentioned that my older brother, he's really my cousin, is a CO, has been a CO for a long time. So I think
Mm-hmm.
maybe that was like what made him realize that this isn't a spam, because I imagine the stuff that they get, just like the
Mm-hmm.
female uh content creators like yourself, I can only imagine the stuff you guys get and deal with. It's just I give you guys credit.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just depends. But yeah. But I
That's
especially
how
well,
it happened.
especially for
Just like you,
him.
you sent me a random message on Facebook talking about my app. I was like, yay!
Well, that's the funny part. I'm just happy that you were able to respond because I said, oh, I don't know how big this app is, but
It's
he
me.
might be super busy.
It's me. It's just me. And I have my full-time job. I have a full-time job, so I was up till 2 in the morning coding on one of the updates and stuff.
Okay.
So, and now I'm gonna track down that bug that we came across
Yeah.
in here. So I got to
Okay.
log in there for that. So I'll
Okay.
be up late tonight too, because I really want to get this pushed out
Yeah.
for
Yeah. Like you said, like you stated, it's just, for the PBA bowlers, this is
yeah.
they're gonna be definitely key components for this. And like we stated before, not just them, but the avid tournament bowler for sure.
Yep. So
So
I did reach out too, because I know one of the things you asked me before is about the future of the app,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And where I see the vision. I've reached out to Cubica, Brunswick, to try and get Lane Talk like functionality
Okay.
open, not just for myself. So here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing is I'm not thinking about this just for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that as a sport that can really grow if they open and embraced more technology. There's other
Okay.
people out there. I reached out to Jeff from Tournament Bowl. There's Eric
Yeah.
from Strike Pro, right, about doing integrations. There's people that want to develop stuff for it, right? Fantasy, I think there's a company that does fantasy football, but you got to go through not fantasy football, daily fantasy bowling, right? But you got to go through a convoluted process, in my opinion, right? And I actually have it already. I already have it mapped out a daily fantasy type of sport for the PBA. I have it
Mm-hmm.
all. I have it all modeled out already. Um, so my vision is to try to get these organizations to do an open API that can allow me to call against this data, right? Think
Mm-hmm.
about that one, especially when it comes to sports betting. The number one blocker for sports betting right now is the hooks into the data.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that they open up the technology alliance or some kind of, you know, keeping it closed to just like Lane Talk is ridiculous in my opinion. And I don't know fully how the integrations work there because I can't see the code, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they can do it. They can open up a public API even if it's a developer program where you have to buy into it, right, for a reasonable rate, right? Because they try telling me it's like $50,000 a year, I'm gonna be like, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna stay doing it the way that we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you make it more accessible to people like myself, like yourself, that are passionate about the sport and growing the sport in different avenues,
Mm-hmm.
the products you're gonna get are gonna be insane,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So that's my vision for the app is to have a broader ecosystem. Um, within that potentially like a director thing where you can run leagues and tournaments from it and then have direct integrations. That's why I was reaching out to Tournament Bowl, trying
Yeah.
to find some kind of, hey, if a user does an event, a tournament that's tied back to Tournament Bowl, they could see their stats live without having
Yeah.
to go to your
Yeah.
website.
Like you
You just
said, great integration.
so
Yep.
I'm open to that, and that's really what I would like to do. I reached out to Simon from 10 Pin Toolkit, the guys from Lane Tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to that, and that's really the vision I want ahead is to kind of help shape technology growth within the bowling industry from a end user perspective.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know if I beat your question. Sorry.
Yeah, some of them. That's not nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I think one of the other questions I had was if somebody is I think you already answered this a little bit, but maybe just give a little pitch. If somebody is already using Pen Pal, why would they consider switching over to
Yeah,
Tournament
the number one reason is because I made it. That's it. No, no,
Sense?
in all seriousness, is Pin Pal's a great app. I'm not knocking Pin Pal. If you use it and you like it, continue to use it. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not being developed. It's not being updated.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting the robust features that you could potentially get. And if you don't want that, I'm happy with you using what works for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And but if you want more robust and you want input, right? Because I take feedback from users. I can't say I can implement everything, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that would just be crazy and a time suck. But if it makes sense for the broader sense of the group of bowlers and community, then I would say, yes, this is great. I reached out to the Bowlers Network, right? That's a new social network
Mm-hmm.
coming out. I tried reaching out to them, trying to
Mm-hmm.
see how can we get some kind of integrations going. But from PinPal is just they're a great app at what they do, but they're outdated
Mm-hmm.
for today's technology and what you can achieve in there. Because I can give you a report and tell you just if I look at my um, recap report, and I don't know if I don't use PinPal, so I don't know if it does it. But you'll see more stuff like this, the strike rate, 20%, 27% focus. You're going to see a lot more of stuff like that in the coming year, year and a half. I'll
Mm-hmm.
have more of that stuff in there that'll go through and tell you, hey, you're missing this. And eventually I'll add in targeting where you're standing, where you're looking, and
Nice.
it'll
Okay.
it'll take the data and say, hey, and again, I'm not going to create the content, but I may partner with someone like Nate and Elise, right? Nate
Yeah.
Garcia
Mm-hmm.
or Packy Hanrahan
Mm-hmm.
or Kevin Williams and say, you guys have these training videos. Let me just link to them and push people to your content, right? I don't
Yes.
need, I don't need, I don't need to create the content. I just want to work with other people that can do that. And I don't know the gentleman that created Pin Pals. I never talked to him. I know he's on Reddit. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
him comment on something
Okay.
in Reddit, right? And he was like, I created Pin Pal, and I'm like, well, but you haven't updated in 2 years. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
technology's changed. Technology's forever changing.
Yeah. And I think the best thing about, just how we were talking, how I sent a tiny message, just like, hey, I notice I'm using this app. And I think with you being user friendly and constantly wanting to make updates,
Yeah.
that's already a seller of the app right there. Because,
Well,
people like to feel heard. They like to
yeah.
feel like their
Well,
feedback is valued. And if I get that feedback and I'm like, oh, okay, he actually, listen,
yeah.
that's a great step. It makes me want to keep using the app. So,
Well, that happened with 10 Pin Toolkit. I love 10 Pin Toolkit.
mm-hmm.
I reached out to Simon like 3, 4 times saying, hey, can we work on some kind of integrations with your ball? I only want to integrate with the ball arsenal section of his app.
Mm-hmm.
So that way users can use 10 Pin Toolkit to set up and create their arsenal. And I
Yeah.
can just import that data into TournamentSense and use that data that they already are. I pay for 10 Pin Toolkit. I love the app.
Mm-hmm.
But the integration component I want is just the ball arsenal screen. right?
Yeah, and I will say another app that I utilize that's kind of similar to that is the Paddock app.
Yep, I have that
Um,
too.
yeah, yeah. So Gary Faulkner, he's another actually. He's good at always updating the app, and I've
Oh,
said
maybe I'll
couple.
reach out to him and see if we can do some kind of.
Yeah, yeah. He
I told you
actually,
I am open, Bree. If you know someone or this or
I'll
that,
say,
like
yeah, I'll send him.
I'd be
Yeah.
like, I only have so much time in the day to think
Mm-hmm.
of things, and a lot of
Yeah,
times it's two
I
in the
think that would
morning.
be a good integration because his app is different
Yeah,
because his is really based on arsenal building. So it's based off of you track how some people track their pins and trying to track their scores. His is tracking, the nitty-gritty of what's your layout, what's your PAP, what,
this
the
is
bowling
my
balls.
cheesy. This is the
Yeah.
cheesy. It's nothing crazy, but
Mm-hmm.
my son tells me I need to separate it by brands,
Yes.
right? But
Yeah.
I'll get there. Aaron gives me some grief about the bowl and Arsenal too, but I'm like, I can only think of so much at once.
hmm
But this is where I know I want to improve the app in the next year or so. I definitely want
Yeah,
to
can you
improve
go
the.
into can we see that a bit just to see what it looks like? Okay.
Yeah,
So
so it's
surface
basically
prep.
you do surface prep, you can put notes in it, and that's
hmm
pretty much it. Eventually I'll make this a little more robust. I'll probably add weights,
hmm
the layout, so it'll be a specific
Yeah.
layout. So
That's,
you'll
yeah.
actually and I'll probably make it in the standard print screen, like
hmm
from a pro shop layout standpoint, the two fingers with the thumb, and you can put all
Yeah.
your notes in it. And then I'll make that exportable so you can just send it to your pro shop. This is the layout I want, and
hmm
or if you're going somewhere new, and at least you can have that data in a form that they normally are used to seeing. That'll be coming. I'd probably say November-ish, maybe
Okay.
sooner.
Okay.
It's
So you
on
got
my
a whole
list.
marketing plan.
It's on my list to make this ball arsenal part better,
Yeah.
right?
hmm
But it's at what cost? At
hmm
what cost of and by that mean is time, right?
Yeah.
Not from a physical cost perspective, but from a time perspective of, I need to make sure I have this stuff working and that is the ball arsenal that creates. As long as I have the name, it's not
hmm
bad. But
hmm
if someone wants to use this as the one and only tool, well then maybe I have to make my own more robust ball arsenal section if I can't do integrations with someone else. And
Yeah.
that's what I'll look at doing.
hmm Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah. So I think we've kind of gone through the app pretty much in robust form. Thank you for showing us the new update. I can't so can you tell us when this will be live? Do you have an idea?
it'll be live. So the plan is, well, now that I got to track down that one bug that popped up,
hmm
the plan will be to have it published. And by I mean what I mean by published is what happens is when you develop an app, you publish it to the Apple Store, the Google Play Store, and it then has to get approved. So
Yeah.
I can approve it and so I can publish it up there. I can package it and submit it. And sometimes it could take a couple hours and it's
hmm
live. Sometimes it takes a few days
hmm
for it to go live, but once it gets submitted, this update right here will be submitted by tomorrow night. Not tomorrow night. I'm gonna say by Thursday,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So, because I'm going to work on that little hiccup, and I don't know if that may take me a little bit of time to figure out what caused that. It could be that I just added in the lane selection, right?
hmm
That's the only thing that I changed between yesterday and today on that screen was the lane selection. So I got to track that down. Um, but I did want to show this real quick. This
Okay.
is uh this is a report. You should see this is performance by center.
hmm
Remember we talked about that the listeners don't know, but we talked briefly about it, and I said one of my friends mentioned doing a report like this. Well, I can tell you the events that I did. I can tell you that at spare time, my average is going down automatically. At
hmm
Kingston Lanes, it's going up.
hmm
But this just tells you a few little things. But then if I drill down into, say, a center, I get a little more robust
mm
information.
Okay.
It starts telling me, I haven't had any 200 plus games. Sorry, I'm not that great.
No worries, man.
It'll tell me my financial breakdown there. I haven't tracked the finances on this because this app is just it's this is just a development one. I have another device here that I run the actual app on with my own personal data. But here I have the event history,
Okay.
as you can see. I can go to Bolero Chicopee, and you can see all the different events that you did there. I haven't saved any notes on this particular device, but
Mm-hmm.
it'll show you journal entries as well based off of the center.
Okay.
So this is basically like your one-stop center shop, right? It'll give you all the details of a particular center. Um, you can track lane performance, and there is partner tracking, right? Because you can do doubles and teams, and you can track your partners. I have a kryptonite report coming. It'll tell you your weakest gear, your weakest partner, right? So
Okay.
hey,
Oh
Luigi,
wow.
hey, people keep bowling with you. You guys aren't winning. You might want to not bowl with Luigi because every time you bowl with Luigi, you don't win,
Yeah, actually, can
right?
we go in? Yeah, can we go into that? That's
I,
funny.
I, I don't have it showing in here, but
Okay, okay,
it's called the
okay,
kryptonite report.
okay, okay.
So that'll basically be the stuff not to do, the oil type of oil patterns, length of
Mm-hmm.
patterns,
Mm-hmm.
lanes, all that'll be in there. As long as you track, see, the thing is you have to track that data. You don't track
Yes.
that data, it's not going to give you. But then there's going to be a dream team report. Think of like the NBA dream team. There'll be a
Mm-hmm.
dream team. It'll be like, hey, you've done all this stuff. Well, what happens if you combine Bree, Tim, and Luigi to do a trios, right? What kind of combination could you potentially outcome based off of the data that you've inputted from like your doubles partnerships or
Mm-hmm.
your team partnership? It'll track all that data and say,
Oh,
hey,
okay.
you bowl really well. I had that working originally, those two reports working originally in the first version of the app, and I decided to pull them for right now because I wanted to get more adoption of the app and users to actually start
Okay.
using it.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
if I don't have more what if analyzations in there from the beginning, I'm like, was that too much to consider,
Mm-hmm.
right? All at once, is that something that's valuable to users? And that's something that I may put out there as a poll to people and say, is this type of information useful for you? Because I don't want to just put it in it just to put it in it, to be like, hey, this is great, a feature, and it not really be used by users. They're like, we don't care about that. But I would. I'd like to know what ball I use. I don't remember every ball I use bowling,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if I know that, I use a 42-foot pattern and I'm using my EXJ Jackal, it's not great on that pattern for me, and I pull it out first thing. Oh, wait a second. Right? It's like kind of like pre-tournament. You can enter the pre-tournament what ifs,
Mm-hmm.
kind of help Arsenal build that way. So I got lots of ideas, Bree.
Yeah. It's funny you say the partners like trying to figure out, how do I bowl with this person because that's a key.
Yeah,
You'll be
I
like,
have I have the
I don't
report,
think we
and
should bowl together
maybe
anymore.
maybe not this particular update this week. I might be able to just make that report live just for you. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll call it the
please.
Bree report. I'll call it the Bree report.
Yeah.
See, that's the other thing I like to do. I like to make it like this app is personal to me. Like it's
Hmm.
not just a corporate conglomerate, right? That's
Yeah.
why you see um in my honor scores, right? And the layout of this is
Oh,
going to
nice.
change.
Okay.
The honor
Okay.
scores. I never thought about doing honor score reports before, but my friend Bobby bowls the 300. He must have bowled like four 300s in the last 3 weeks,
Oh,
right?
wow.
So
Okay.
the Bobby reports, the 300 reports, right? I have a fake 300 because I haven't bowled a 300 in my dreams. Yes, a 300 series maybe. So it'll tell you here, right, where it was. I'm gonna make this a little more robust. It'll go down to the center, the ball you used and stuff, because I know a lot of people like that. They like to know what ball
Yeah.
they used. So I'll add that in there now that I track the ball specifically per each frame and stuff. If people enter that information, it'll come up. Overall honor scores, 800 series, 300 games. It'll list them all here.
Okay.
And then that'll all be sortable by centers. I don't know if I want to do the same drop down style or just do whatnot, but yeah, it's there. It's coming together.
It is. It is. And I'm happy to see it.
And it all started because did I earn $600 in USBC sanctioned tournaments? That's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned it, and it was not ever meant to be. When I tell you, Bree, and I hope I'm not messing your name up by calling you Bree.
No, no,
Uh,
no, no.
um, it all started from that, and it just exploded into everything, like everything. And I'm like, why would I think about tracking my pins? I never thought about doing that.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I want to do that because I want to improve. I want my conversion rate on my 10 pins to go up.
Hmm.
I want to be able to show that to my coach and say, not me just telling him. I could say, oh yeah, coach, I hit everything. Where's the data to back that up?
Yeah. And I think one of the key things as we wrap up is this app specifically, you, you wouldn't say it's just for the average, the heavy tournament bowler. You would say it's
No,
for
it's
all bowlers, correct?
yeah, league bowlers, junior bowlers. So the one thing we didn't really touch too much on is the journal system,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you like to journal, I tried to keep it fairly simple to use. You
Mm-hmm.
can link a tournament if you want. You can link a league, right? If you want to take notes for a league, the lane conditions and so forth. There is the ability. This is where I had the coaching ideas is when I get notes by the coach,
Okay.
right? It's coaching notes, right? The notes that the coach gave me
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. That was all this was meant to be.
Will
What
this
drill?
be in the new update?
This is no, this is already live. This is you
Oh,
can use
okay.
this right
Okay, got
now.
you. Okay.
The journal system is the full
Okay.
coaching module and student
Mm-hmm.
coach slash student module is not live yet.
Okay. Okay.
That should be. I'm hoping by end of April because I like to really bake it through, and there's a few other caveats that I got to do from a technology standpoint to
Mm-hmm.
make the integrations work properly for that. And one of them being is right now you don't create an account unless you're a pro user.
Okay.
But in most likely the next update, every user will have to create an account, a TournamentSense account, because the data will ingest into the cloud backend to allow for the sharing of the data within the users between each other, as far as
Mm-hmm.
like the coach integrations and the student integrations, not like not sharing your data with the world,
Yeah.
but the integrations within the app itself needs to have something to communicate to a central platform, like a central repository of data. So that
Mm-hmm.
way it can go through and say, all right, I want to share this with Bree. Here it is. Here's my report and have it linked automatically and so forth. So I didn't want to do that, but it's the only way to make that possible. But it
Okay.
also allows for potential integrations with, say, someone like Tournament Bowl or Strike Pro or Bowl Champs.
Mm-hmm.
If I have my own authentication, users authenticated, I can work on creating a kind of like, log in with Facebook,
Yeah. Yeah.
log in
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
TournamentSense.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a couple years down the road, a year and a half, I may create another app, TournamentSense app for, say, like pickleball, bar games.
Mm-hmm.
There's potential. I left it open for that, but bowling's the sport I enjoy,
Yeah.
right? The next sport after that would be baseball, right? And I know there's my buddy, he does a lot of military softball tournaments,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I could see creating softball, baseball being the next app, and then letting my buddy and all the military veterans that, participate in that. I was like, I wish I knew about this softball stuff when I was in the military. I mean, it's been around, but no one ever got me involved in that because I probably would have loved it. Um, so yeah, that's lots of stuff to go over.
Yeah. 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 And before we wrap up, so any key last minute features that you wanted to show us from this new update that will really
Um,
stand out?
no, really, the biggest things were the expense system that's coming
Okay.
and the recap screen because I know
Mm-hmm.
that was a big selling point for users to be able to share their stuff on social. You see it all the time. You see the Lane Talk share screen. You see the
Mm-hmm.
Pin Pal recap screen. It's 90% of the things that people share are that. So that's what I'm really liking about. But I don't know if because I don't use Pin Pal and I don't
Mm-hmm.
use Lane Talk anymore, if they're customizable. And that's the one thing that I like that is I allow users to have some customization and input into what they're sharing, not just this canned, here you go, I think this is what's best,
Mm-hmm.
right? Approach. And that's the way I'll try to do it going forward is I'm trying to give users more control of their own outcomes. Like I give you
Mm-hmm.
multiple options to input your data. The data you record is what you want to record and capture is all that matters, is what matters to you, is what matters to
Yeah.
me. And if I have to create a new method or something, then I will. But for me, that's the biggest thing is the recap screen. I know it's a minor thing because before I used to just show people this for me. I'd be like, this is my screen, right? It's kind of plain, right?
Yeah.
But if I come to this, that's a little more visually appealing. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I never thought of that. Or something like this screen. And I
Mm-hmm.
come in and I change this back to,
Pins per frame. Yep.
yeah, the pins per frame. That's like that's the money shot, right? That's the shot that
Mm-hmm.
people like. They're like, oh yeah, I like this. Oh, what'd you leave there? And then you see these eights are yellow, right? So that's
Yes.
actually because I have it set to highlight notable leaves. Right. So as soon as I click unsave that, those eights that were gold, they're actually
Mm-hmm.
gold. They're no
Mm-hmm.
longer gold anymore because that's a notable leaf because it left the 7 pin or the 10 pin, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's a a shot that's left all the time.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Okay.
that
So,
that's my biggest thing I would say.
okay.
And then the
So,
expense system from the finance side is to me that's the game changer of this
yeah.
app for the pro
Yeah,
amateur.
I told you, like I said, that's a big thing. And can you show that just one more time?
Yeah,
Just
this
like
is
what are the options?
yeah, it is. So right now I have bowling cost, pro shop services, equipment,
Mm-hmm.
lodging, meals, travel mileage, other. So
Yep.
if I went to pro shop service, I can type drill in, and I can just do we'll do 45 by 50 by I don't know, we'll say 90. The date, how much it was, we'll say it was $60. I can put the vendor, the name of the pro shop, we'll say custom pro fit. Right? I can link it to a tournament to say, hey, I bought this while I was doing the Northeast Megabucks.
Okay. Yeah.
Or I bought it because I was tied to this league, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
have that option, and then I just click save.
Okay.
And now it's there.
Yep. Yep.
And then if I was to click this little button right here, and I may actually change this button up here to have like, you know, export. Um, I'm pointing to it like you could see. Like I'm thinking maybe like a button here, kind of like how I have to generate the recap. I
Mm-hmm.
may put that button there instead of up here because I don't know if as from a user standpoint if everyone will understand that that button up there is how you get the options to export it.
Mm-hmm.
So I may try to change this right here afterwards, um, and see if I get feedback from that. But that's the game changer right there. And I will add in, probably not for this update, but for the next update, I'll add in some expense report metrics just for
Yeah.
like
I'm just
some.
gonna ask if
Yeah,
you can
it'll
see
be in.
expensives versus winnings.
Yeah, it'll come into here.
Okay.
It'll be in this financial report screen. You'll see probably a couple other reports in here that breaks down the financial side of it, right? Because kind of how I have it here, it's just overall summary. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
make these reports a little more robust, and I'll add
Yeah.
in now that I literally just at 2 in the morning last night I finished the expense module. My wife
Okay.
wakes up, she's like, "Babe, what are you doing?" I'm like, oh, babe. I was like, you got to see this. But I was like, babe, I said, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. But I said, I do a lot of stuff at 2 in the morning. She's like
Hmm.
crazy. So I just finished that last night at 2 in the morning. So I want to, I know it's not the greatest thing for some people say is, well, why don't you finish it? Because if I keep putting stuff in and putting stuff in, I'll never have stuff for people to use.
Yeah.
Right. So I'd
You'll
rather
never keep updating it.
yeah, I'd rather
So,
put it out there and just say, okay, here's this. Now let me work on this smaller update because I've been working on this update overall since um November,
mm-hmm.
mid-November timeframe, right? With my work travel over the holidays and stuff. So it's been a few months that I've been working on all this and fixing some of the other bugs. But as you see, you fix a bug, you may institute a bug.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like now I got to track that down. So if I try to do too much all at once, it's just going to be overwhelming. So I'll get it in there, I'll get people using it, and then I'll over the next 1 or 2 updates, which I'm hoping to try and keep it updated at least once a month with something like new,
Nice. Okay.
like a
Okay.
little, and then at some point it's going to be a point where it's just going to be status quo for a little bit until I
Yeah.
get some of those deeper integrations in. Um, and if I can't get any integrations working with any of the tournament software, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna build TournamentSense directly, and then
Look,
It'll
I'm
be,
also a tournament director, so if
yeah.
you can
So I
build
had
me
a,
something similar to this,
yeah,
trust me.
well, it's going to be similar to this, but I always said it when I thought of Tournament Sense director, right, Bree, is I said, pitcher, tournament bowl, league secretary, have a baby.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
with this type of stuff in mind, ease of use, I did have a really great conversation with Eric from Strike Pros, which is a new tournament software
Mm-hmm.
that he's developing. It's in beta right now. We had a
Okay.
great conversation. He's actually coming to the Boston area um, in a couple of weeks, actually.
Okay. I
So we're
would love
gonna
to
try.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
we're
can
gonna
send
try
me his
Strike Pro,
information.
the Strike Pros, strikepro.com or
Okay.
something like that. I'll send you the link to it.
Yeah.
It looks nice, and again, if I could work with someone and not have to recreate the wheel, and we can get the integrations working together,
Mm-hmm.
then that's great. I had a great conversation with Jeff from Tournament Bowl. I got to reach out back out to him, and see if maybe we can kind of work out something because the way I would envision it is if they have the integration correctly, they would come to a tournament and I would create a new tournament. And there'd be an option here for is this a tournament bowl tournament? Is this a Strike Pro tournament? If so, what's the tournament ID? What's your
Mm-hmm.
user ID for that? And then once it saves, you can track your stats. But then on the home screen here, there'd be like a little tournament live update. And it'll
Yeah.
show you the tournament that you're currently in and where you are based off the tournament director,
Yeah.
the official stats and standings.
Yes.
Right? There's a terrible app called League Pals, which is terrible.
Yeah, they tried.
Just
They've
think
been
that I'm
trying.
my goal, and I will put this on record because I've already talked to someone with the PBA. My goal is to try to take League Pals out and have Tournament Sense be that
Yes.
app. That's
I'm
my vision.
I love it. Yeah, anything that's easier and like you said, beefs up
Yeah.
um
So
quality of bowling. I love it. So if there's tournament sense director, I will be the first to use it because some of
it's
these softwares
it
are a little tough to use.
it may very well happen. And the thing is, even if I created Tournament Sense Director, I would still work with the other people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need the whole pie. I just do it because I would make it easy for my friends to use and affordable for end users to use.
Yeah.
Right? But if I could strike up a really good product, say Eric and I or Jeff and I, Jeff, Eric and I, or the three of us come together and we're like, let's make this stellar product
Mm-hmm.
together, right? The only issue with Tournament Bowl, it's a great product, right? People use it. It's just outdated,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, and it really depends. I think
That's the
in my personal use, it really depends on if your center has good Wi-Fi. Because if
yeah.
not, you got to use your hotspot on your phone.
So
So,
that's the other thing about this too is um everything's local on here,
mm-hmm.
right? And if say you had to do something offline, you could do everything offline. It doesn't require internet connection. The only thing that will require internet connection at some point is the syncing of the data to the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do something similar with Tournament Sense Director. It would be a web-based version as well as a mobile-based version, which none of them are. They're all web-based, right? So you as a tournament director, you could do all your stuff offline, go home, update it, right? It
Mm-hmm.
won't give the users necessarily the full live stats experience, but that's the limitation of the center, right? Or using a hotspot, and that's not much people can deal with. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that I see, um, Jeff Purchase, Dougie Heroin, I'm probably
Yes.
killing his last name. I see their spreadsheet, their Google Sheets. They're like crazy. I'm like, guys, this is 2025. We can make this
Mm-hmm.
easier.
Yeah.
Make it
Yeah.
easier for you, like as the tournament director. We can make it easier on you by the use of technology. So
Yep.
I got you. I got you, Bree.
Yes, please, please. Me and one of the few of the guys that I work with for tournaments, if you can make it easier, currently what we use is the outdated Ebonite tournament coordinator. But like I
Yeah,
said, it's because it's very user friendly and it doesn't require Wi-Fi, but
yeah.
it's top notch. It doesn't have support, so it's not updated, but it's top notch. So I don't have any
It's like
issues.
Pin Pal. It's solid. It functions properly, and there's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But you want something a little more. You want some more tournament sense. That's what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So
All righty. Well, as we wrap up, I appreciate you showing us this new update. Thank you for speaking with me today. I'm glad we were able to go through some of these key features, because not just, I wanted to bring light to something that I've stumbled upon, and I know
yeah.
other people would love to be able to use it as well. Because mixing tournament tracking, league tracking with finances is a huge thing. And then as you go along with more features of adding coaching and journaling, I definitely see a huge future for this app for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, journaling's there today. Coaching will be there
Yeah.
by, I'd say, end of April, if not
Hmm.
sooner.
Yeah.
Probably sooner because I got a good portion of it worked on,
Hmm.
but it's coming. It's gonna be
Good,
nice.
good, good,
When it
good.
comes, it's gonna be nice. I don't know if you know Sammy Ventura. He's a high school coach.
Yeah, I don't think, yeah. Mm-mm.
Yeah, he does. I'm gonna have him use it too. I think of the old guys too, because they're not too sex savvy. So I got to
Hmm.
try making it as easy as possible for users to
Yes.
use.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
So,
thanks for talking with me today. I'm sure we will collaborate again in the future. Any updates, please feel free. We could talk again and showcase to the public these updates. This is a great app.
yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it, Bree, you reaching out to me, and first and foremost for you downloading my app,
Okay,
like,
yeah,
and just
absolutely.
trying, just trying it, like that means a lot to me. Like
Hmm.
as a person, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, no worries, no worries. I'm definitely gonna keep continuing to use it, and I'll tell my friends, of course. They need to use
Thank
it
you.
too.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of avid bowling friends that always say, "Man, I'm trying to figure out, how much money I spent and did I get it back? Am I minus? Am I plus?
Oh.
Tracking your league fees, especially one thing we didn't touch on is, with league fees, you have secretaries that do their own tracking,
Hmm.
but I want to do my own personal tracking so I can before I get to league, maybe I can see how much I owe
Yeah.
and
Or
pay
are
it
they
off.
accurate? Did they
Yeah.
did they mess
Hmm.
up? I mean,
Hmm. Yeah.
who's gonna question? Who's gonna question? Not saying there's scrupulous people out there, but who's
Hmm.
gonna question them?
Yeah.
If
Hmm.
your little old lady secretary comes up to you and says, "Hey, you own all the $25 because I do. Oh, sorry, $25." You're just like, here,
Yep.
take it.
Hmm.
Right? We're too
Yep.
trusting.
Yep.
But
Well,
yeah, no, I really appreciate it. And to anyone out there, if you have questions, you reach out to the email address or the Instagram account. It's me. You getting me directly. You're not getting any corporate person. I'm a regular person. I work in a pro
hmm.
shop. I bowl. I cashed in two tournaments the last 2 weeks.
Hmm.
I may do
Yeah,
another tournament
congrats.
this week. So,
Congrats.
yeah, the handicap tournament. So
Hey, which handicap scratch?
that's it.
Cashing
I
is cashing is the goal.
I do scratch tournaments just to get the experience, and
Hmm.
that's my mindset. I'm not saying I couldn't win.
Hmm.
I'd have to bowl really, 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 really better than I do, to
Hmm.
win some of those tournaments against some of the bowlers that I see out there in competition.
Hmm.
But all those guys have been doing it 15, 30 years sometimes. And here I am almost 5, 6 years in. And I've changed my style. We didn't even touch on that. I changed my style like 3, 4 times. And now I'm a no
Hmm.
thumb, one hand no thumb bowler now.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
changed my style because I hurt my wrist last year around this same time frame to do that tournament. I hurt my
Hmm.
wrist and I still bowled like 100 games. And I'm
Wow.
like, that's it. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Now, what I did one last question.
Yeah.
Can you access this app on Android and iPhones?
Yes. The
Okay.
only place you cannot access it is on the web.
Okay.
So Android, iPhone, it is available on both. It
Okay.
was a pain to get it onto the Android store. And by
Hmm.
that meaning is, I had to find it as tough it is, I had to find 12 beta testers
Hmm.
for the app
Okay.
and to download it and use it for 14 days. And you would think people would want to help you and just download an app and try it.
Hmm.
It was not the case. It was probably released on the iStore for 2 months before it went live on the Android store because of that. And I know a lot of people. Like when I say I
Hmm.
know a lot of people, I was like surprised that more people weren't like, I'll download the app for you. Because
Mm-hmm.
most people are like, you're making a bowling app, and I'm like, and I know a lot of bowlers too, but I know thousands of people, and I'm like, come on, people, I just need you to download the app.
Right,
You did
exactly,
for
exactly.
14 days. That's all I need you to do. You don't even have
Mm-hmm.
to, you use it once, it counts. Like, and it was like pulling teeth. But my food app that I'm coming out with, I might get some more traction faster. I got other apps in the works, but I won't get into that now.
Okay. All righty. Thank you so much, Luigi. I'm sure we will talk soon. And let
Yes,
me know if
thank
you
you,
have
Bree.
any more updates. I'll keep the people posted.
All right, thank you, and I appreciate your time. I know we went over the time because
Oh, no worries. No
that's what
worries.
happens when you're having fun.
Yeah, it was great information. You were going through the app and I was intrigued because it
Yeah.
just kept getting better.
Yeah, I shared your profile with like maybe 15 people. I was like, I want to be on this podcast. You gotta check out this site. You gotta check, and I'll pimp it out when I afterwards too. Once we know it's live, I'll keep broadcasting it all over the
Yep,
place. How about you guys
absolutely.
want to sneak? But actually, by then it'll probably hopefully be out.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I plan to get this out definitely before the app is live, probably by the end of this week.
Oh
Um
yeah, so wait, who knows? Maybe they'll be around the same time. You
yeah.
got the sneak peek first.
Yep, the
It was
exclusive
Tim.
and I
Tim
love it.
saw Tim saw a lot of the sneak peek stuff, and then you got it second. No one else
Cool.
has seen that too, so that's
Cool.
pretty well besides my wife, but she don't count because she don't care
Oh
about
no.
that stuff.
Yeah, cool. They'll want to know. So yeah,
Yeah,
once you have a date, just let me know.
I will. As soon as it's released, I'll let you know. Once
Awesome.
it's live, because like I said, it's most likely going to get published tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I'll probably have that bug fixed tonight, and then I want to do the one league report, and who knows, maybe I'll be nice and I'll throw a little kryptonite report in there for you.
Nice.
Maybe I'll sneak that and make that live now as a little gotcha to Bree. I'll be like, this is Bree. Bree said she likes this. Maybe I'll call it the Bree report.
Yeah. We're on to something.
I will. There's definitely gonna be a report in there, but you really like the financial side, so maybe I'll have to. We'll talk.
We'll talk. Okay.
I'll get a report named after you in there yet.
Cool.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank
Alrighty.
you, Bree.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Bree.
Alrighty. Have a good
Bye
one.
bye.